Certainly, we're always looking for strategies. We're looking for things that we can do. Essentially, Teshuva becomes challenging in the sense, when somebody's doing a lot of wrong things and they recognize and they wake up and they look at their lives and they say, "My gosh, I'm doing all these averos." Teshuva becomes a little bit easier from the point of view of at least knowing what you have to do. I know I'm doing these terrible things, and I got to stop. When people are from people and they're committed people, and they, Baruch Hashem, they spend their lives trying to do the right thing. There, it becomes a little bit more challenging because what do you want from me? Like, what is it that I have to really, change? And maybe the answer is there isn't, for those people, it isn't so much what they have to change, but it is the concept of constant improvement. It's much more the subtle areas of character development, or taking a mitzvah and maybe trying to even advance it or to purify it, to really, do something to show that while yes, we're very committed, and Baruch Hashem, just think about the tzaddikim, they didn't look at a Yom Kippur as being a wasted day. What did the Chavetz Chaim have to cry in Yom Kippur for? The man was a Gadol Ador. But the teretz is that he cried and he utilized the day because he knew that even though no matter how incredible of a level he was on, he knew that there was more he could have done. And I can still be better. I can still, so I think, people who, Baruch Hashem, are very committed and, get up every day early in the morning to try to do the Ratzon Hashem, I think their perspective needs to be, and again, there could be particular areas that, this is a weakness and this is a challenge and I have to work on it. That's obvious. If that's something that the person is grappling with, then obviously that's an area to focus in on. But even if not, that needs to also be the perspective. I can do better. I can become a little bit closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I can work on my midos. The Gra says, incredible Gra, Pasuk in Mishlei, that talks about grabbing on to Musar. Chazek Musar Al Totzar, I think it says Notzrena Ki Hi Chayecha, something along those lines. I think in Perek Dalet of Mishlei, and the basic message, and the Gra explains it, is that the Shalom Melech is telling us that if we're not working on our midos to perfect, and again, to get to perfection, to get to mastery, takes a lifetime plus. So, there's no one who can say that we've all perfected all of our midos, that there's not one area of chaos, of anger, or jealousy, or haughtiness, or any type of hatred or negativity towards people, whatever it might be, that can get to us and that can undermine us in any which way, or is a weakness that we have. The Gra says that's what Shalom Melech is saying. You got to work on. That's why we're here. He says very clearly, the reason why Kadosh Baruch Hu put us here, and this is coming from the Gra, who A, it was before the Muslim movement, and B, he spent his entire life mastering Shas and Paiskim, Nigel and Nister, every type of depth of Torah you can imagine, the Gra spent his life mastering. So for him to say the words, because if a Jew is not working on the midos, Lama lo chayim, why does he have life? What's the point of life? So that speaks volumes to the notion that there's nothing to chuchuv for, nothing to say that maybe, whether I got too angry or my midos were always impeccable. I mean, we know for sure that's not true. And we can't also feel, okay, but so what's wrong? So I get angry once in a while. So, I have a problem with my, whatever, my haughtiness, or I'm jealous of people, whatever the foible might be, for us to say it's not a big deal. No, it's a very big deal. That's a very big deal, because that's why we're here. We're here to become better people. We're here to work on ourselves. So So on that level, if we look at it from that way, and that's why Rabbi Yisrael Salanta would talk to his students, and he would say, are you working on yourself? Are you working on Musar? Do you open up a Musar Sefer, a few minutes a day, as often as you can? Because that was exactly his contribution to the world, one of many, but one of the big contributions in his founding the Muslim movement was this concept that if you can't conventionally, the old system of learn Torah and it'll purify you. Learn Torah and you'll become this wonderful, completely well-rounded, almost, whole human being. You'll be that Ish Sholem and you'll be almost that perfect Jew. He saw it didn't work anymore. He saw that it was something that wasn't happening. He saw big Talmid Chachamim, and yet he saw very serious, weaknesses in their character. And, I don't think Rabbi so would walk around the streets today and say, okay, but Baruch Hashem, in 2017, everything's different. We don't need the Muslim movement anymore. Everybody's good, and Torah is what's purifying them. And you don't need a particular focus on your midos. I think he'd say, I'm pretty confident that he'd say, we need it more than ever. So this concept of if we approach Yom Kippur from that point of view, that we recognize, that in the area of character development, of character perfection, where there is no point where we can say we've done it. There is no point where we can say we're finished. And especially if we're makabel on ourselves, this notion of working on this concept, recognizing that it's an area that I'd like to improve. I think I mentioned before that the Sifsei Chaim wrote those incredible Mussar books in the back of the room of Chaim Friedlander, who just recently passed away. It's the last 10 years that he passed away. And he was the Mashkiach in Panovich. He said Shmuzim in Panovich. Clearly, his works, his books his farm are incredible. And when the doctors gave him very little time left to live, and he went to Blazer Shach, the Gadol Hador, the Rashiv of Panovich, he said, Rebbe, so what, I got a few weeks left to live. What do I work on? And you'd think the answer would have been some, deep Kabbalistic notion of, what there is to do left in this world. These are two of the giants, spiritual giants that we had in our generation. And Rav Shach's answer was, mamish to grow. Find a midah, find an area that you still feel needs improvement, which is the one that you have the most work, necessary to master, and work on that. And try to and further perfect, because every advancement, every time maybe we would have otherwise gotten angry, that we don't get angry, that we hold it, and we this would have gotten me 5 years ago, I would have been off the deep end, I would have been flying and screaming and ranting and raving, and now Baruch Hashem, I walked around the block, cooled off, came back home, and I'm good. That's like a 9.9 on the Richter scale. That ability to hold one act, one time is an incredible thing. So, if we come to Yom Kippur with that kind of perspective, that Baruch Hashem, yes, we do a lot of wonderful things, and there's Torah and there's mitzvos, and then therefore there's room for a pat on the back. Baruch Hashem, in this world today, where people are committed Jews and they're doing great things, but it doesn't mean therefore that when it comes to Yom Kippur that the sort of is this gift day that HaKadosh Baruch Hu says whatever weaknesses, whatever you have, I'll erase. Which maybe for those type of people, for those special people, means I'll erase those weaknesses once in a while that crept up in the midos, or once in a while the wrong statement came out, and a person is spoke lashon hara not 10 times a day, but one time a week, or whatever it might be, whatever level the person might be on. It doesn't mean that there's no need for the kapara, because as a person grows, the subtleties and the sensitivities of what needs to be worked on becomes that much more pronounced, because it clarified itself. Yeah, but that area still needs to be worked on. And if a Jew would be makabel upon himself that concept, that would be an extremely powerful idea. And Rabbi Yisrael Paskin, that's begeder Teshuva. The person takes upon himself to work on himself and makabel himself to learn Musar. That puts a person into the category of you're doing tshuva, and Baruch Hashem, that's what the Rambam says is necessary during the Aseret Tshuva. We're tuliyim v'omdim. We're hanging, in a bain, so to speak, and waiting. And the think it was Rabbi Blazer said, when the Rambam writes the words tuliyim v'oimdim, they're hanging and they're standing. He said you got to visualize it exactly the way it was designed. That when you hang somebody, you put him up on a pedestal, you raise him, you put the noose around his neck. He says that's how we have to view this time. And if, God forbid, a person doesn't do tshuva, it's not a good situation. But if a person does do tshuva, then the person's nechtam l'chaim. So he points out. So what happens? They take the noose off the neck and they put the rope away. So when a person has a noose off his neck and he's still on the pedestal, look where he is. He's higher than when he was before. So going through the process of seeing oneself tulim v'omdim, that we have to make that movement of our neshama in HaKadosh Baruch Hu's direction. Again, it doesn't mean necessarily radical overhauls, Baruch Hashem, but it does mean this commitment to improve, to try to avoid the mistakes and to eradicate the mistakes that we might have made on rare occasions, on subtle times, or many occasions. It doesn't really matter. But the point is, there's always that ruin. And if Rabbi Yisrael says to us that we are begeder osa tshuva, if we make that Kabbalah, that commitment to work on ourselves and to learn some Musar on a regular basis, to take advantage of what this incredible day does for us, which is by nature elevate us. We're on that pedestal naturally by being in Aseret Shemei Tshuva, and Be'ez Hashem, if the noose gets taken off and the Be'ez Hashem all of Klal Yisrael is Nechtam L'chaim, we not only will be Nechtam L'chaim, Be'ez Hashem, but also be on that pedestal, elevated, and Be'ez Hashem ready for Shnas Gula, Yeshua, and Shnas Baruch V'Atzlacha.